The Huawei P40 Pro is coming with more cameras than expected, and I'll be sharing all the details right after this. If you're new here and want to stay up to date with the latest tech, please hit subscribe followed by the bell. So yet again we've had leaks on the Huawei P40 Pro, and this time it's in the form of new renders and sources claiming that the Huawei P40 Pro will be equipped with 7 cameras in total. 9tech11 has shared new renders of the front and rear of the P40 Pro. We can see that we've still got the dual punch hole camera in the display, but on the rear we've got an additional 5 cameras with an LED flash. They've revealed that the pentalens camera of the Huawei P40 Pro is going to consist of a wide-angle main lens, a cine lens, a periscope lens, a telephoto, and a 3D time-of-flight depth sensor. We've had leaked information from Ming Chi Kuo last week regarding the cameras used in the P40 Pro, and cameras have always been a highlight of Huawei devices, and they really have been pushing forward with mobile photography. Ming Chi Kuo advised that the Huawei P40 Pro is going to be using a newly designed periscope lens that gives the smartphone 10 times optical zoom. This is a huge improvement over the predecessor's 5 times and much more than we're seeing in competitors' devices. According to last week's renders, we get a flat display for the standard P40 and a curved display on the Huawei P40 Pro. Earlier leaks suggested a waterfall display on the P40 Pro, but according to OnLeaks, this is incorrect. We do, however, have a different display than we've seen before. As you can see on the corners, the frame and the glass fuse together with a raised frame. Finally, we've got a leak case for the Huawei P40 Pro, and looking at the design, this could in fact be where the information came from for the renders. We also had more detail on the Huawei P40 Pro now, so we'll quickly run through the specs. The Huawei P40 Pro is going to come with a 6.5-inch curved display. It will of course be an OLED display with a Quad HD Plus resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. It's reportedly going to have a screen to body ratio of roughly 98%, and we're expecting a pill-shaped punch hole for the selfie camera. It's reportedly going to have a screen to body ratio of roughly 98%, and we're expecting a pill-shaped punch hole for the selfie camera. When it comes to the rear cameras, we're expecting a pentacamera setup on the Huawei P40 Pro, and this will of course be Leica. Reports are suggesting that the primary camera will actually be using a 64-megapixel Sony IMX686 with optical image stabilization and the RYYB color arrangement. We're also expecting a 20-megapixel ultra-wide lens, a 12-megapixel periscope lens, a macro lens, and a 3D time-of-flight depth sensor. So these are slightly conflicting with the earlier leaks, so it's just going to be interesting to see who is correct. The phone's going to be powered by the Kirin 990 system on chip, which is 5G compatible, and will likely see a choice of 8 or 10 GB of RAM. This will be coupled with the usual storage options of 128, 256 or 512 GB, and this will no doubt be UFS 3 storage. The phone will of course ship with Android 10, and the most interesting leak was of course the news of a graphene battery being used in the device. Not only did the report state a graphene battery will be used in the Huawei P40 Pro, but it also advised a capacity of 5,500 mAh. Unfortunately, it has been confirmed by Huawei themselves that this is incorrect, so while the phone may have a 5,500 mAh battery, it will not be a graphene battery. We do however have news that it will support 50-watt rapid charging. The Huawei P40 Pro is going to be powered by Android 10 based on Huawei's EMUI firmware. While there were initially rumours of the phone coming with a dual boot operating system, this isn't going to be the case. The Huawei P40 Pro is going to come with Android 10 only, and the CEO has already confirmed that it's going to be using Huawei's mobile services, which will apparently be ready by the time the P40 Pro is released. Huawei's mobile services are basically an app suite similar to the Google Play apps, but of course it's Huawei's own. While many people require Gmail, if Huawei make an app that can access Gmail through their client, then I can't see this being an issue, and of course we have plenty of alternatives for things like Maps and YouTube. There were hopes of the Huawei P40 Pro coming bundled with Google services, but it seems unlikely given the rising tensions between Huawei and the USA. Many US companies have continued to sell to Huawei after the blacklisting due to a rule that limits the government's ability to restrict exports. This is because certain products are completely exempt, and if a company can prove 75% of the work to create the item happened overseas, then these rules don't apply. A report came in last week that stated the administration is actually considering raising the threshold to 90%, and it's also going to increase the list of products that are included. Apparently, these changes could also come as early as January 2020. So this is bad news for Huawei and of course the P40 Pro. The government in Beijing has already threatened to retaliate against companies not supporting Huawei, so things could continue to get much worse. Not only is it bad news for Huawei, it's also bad news for the US companies that have their exports restricted, and it's only really harming the growth in the communications industry. But there is of course possibility that a new trade deal could be arranged. Given the growing tensions, however, it could put consumers off purchasing the Huawei P40 and the P40 Pro, considering things are becoming more and more difficult for the company. So far, however, they've persevered and continue to produce their incredible devices, but at some point this may become too difficult. Of course, as any more news arises, I'll be sharing with you guys straight away, but as always, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments. Who out there is waiting for the Huawei P40, and are you waiting for the normal P40 or the P40 Pro? And what do you think about it coming with 5 cameras on the rear? But thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, smash a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down twice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.